On this hunt, I'm in the mountains of Idaho with my buddy Jason Phelps from Phelps Game Calls. We're searching the burned up ridgelines of this mountain range for the world's coolest animal, mule deer.
I mean, look at the body on that guy.
Yeah, he's big frame.
His shoulders.
This area is known for harboring some big bucks, so the plan is to wait patiently for the perfect deer at the perfect moment.
They're up just to the right of that big knob.
I gotta go over there and figure out what I'm looking at.
But I've got a feeling we won't be waiting long.
This is the kind of deer hunt I like, Jason. Why is it? Because there's a bunch of deer.
I've followed trails of all kinds, pursuing wild game through our country's wildest places. These are my stories. These are my people. I'm Steven Ranella, and this is MeatEater.
So, Jason, do you honestly like elk more than mule deer? What kind of question is that? I mean, I guess anytime someone says, do you honestly, it's a loaded question, isn't it?
Yeah. I like stuff that you can call, and elk are very, very callable. They've got a cool sound. Like a mule deer doesn't make a noise. Like, it's a silent game.
They just evade detection.
They do not bugle. So they rely on you to spot them in tight little shaded beds. If I want to know where an elk's at, I just climb the top of a mountain and let out a little bugle, and they usually talk back to me. They're more social animals.
Sometimes things are just better quiet and discreet. I think mule deer are modest and subtle and mysterious and cooler looking. Everything about elk, it's just so obvious. There's a gaudiness to it, you know? It's like if your kids went to Hard Rock Cafe, they'd be like, no, this is a restaurant, right? And they might not appreciate like a restaurant that's more like subtle and intricate. Here's how I'll put it. I get happier looking at a big mule deer than I do a big bull.
Really?
Oh, for sure. If God came down and said, Steve, you have to pick, you can only hunt one big game animal the rest of your life, I wouldn't hesitate to say mule deer.
Me either. I'd go elk. Yeah. That's what's awesome about hunting. You can like find your own little niche, like the thing that just gets you going. But like I said, I love them both. We're just gonna have to agree to disagree. The elk are cooler.
There's an elk, speaking of which.
See, because they're better. That bigger buck that we thought we saw behind that ridge is out in the sun again. The irony, you're looking at elk and I'm looking at deer. I mean, mule deer are a close second, but they don't bugle at you.
Oh, you give them a close second?
Yeah. Mule deer are awesome, but they're just not as cool as elk. You've got like an 800-pound roaring dinosaur coming at you in the timber, close quarters. I mean, you get 3 to 4 times as much meat off of an elk. Tastes a little bit better.
No. You're right that elk have a bigger size, but everything about eating mule deer is better. My wife, who eats more wild game than most hunters, but doesn't hunt, much prefers mule deer meat. My kids much prefer mule deer meat. If you grow up in a bland, flavorless world, I could see they'd be all like, oh, elk is good. Whitetails are good. But if you are a person that likes a little flavor in their life, you become a mule deer man. Because when you eat something, you want to know there's something there. And I don't think that every animal's job is to taste like beef.
It'd be a lot cooler if it did.
It makes sense that a guy who built a career designing and building his own elk calls would prefer that particular game animal. But despite his misguided opinion, Jason Phelps has graciously agreed to accompany me into the National Forests of Idaho to hunt his second favorite animal, which is the #1 game animal of all time, the splendid and mysterious mule deer. This is what's referred to as a limited draw unit, where the state issues a small number of deer hunting permits through a lottery draw. If you're a non-resident like me, it's not quite as much of a long shot as hitting the Powerball, but it's still pretty good. The unit is known for having solid numbers of deer with the potential for some big, huge, giant bucks.
This ridge top we're sitting on actually is the border of the unit, so meaning if you draw a deer tag for like X number unit, it's that way. If you draw a deer tag for Y number unit, it's behind us. I've never hunted deer before. It's regarded as one of the cooler places to hunt mule deer in Idaho, so people bow hunt the piss out of it. We're high elevation, and as soon as you start getting bad weather, this stuff will, depending who you ask, this stuff will start to empty out of deer. People say that the bigger bucks are the last ones to leave, but we haven't had any bad weather yet. Hopefully they're still up in the high country, because like I said, there just hasn't been any weather. It still feels like late summer, except for that it's below freezing in the morning. We got days, right? So we might wind up down in the ranch country, I don't know. But this is just the first place to start. Look.
I drew a rifle tag, but prior to the gun season, there was an archery-only hunt. Another friend of mine, Kenton Carruth, who is one of the original founders of the technical hunting apparel company First Light, spent some time up here during that archery season. So he loaded me up with some really good intel, stick to the burned areas basically, and agreed to come check on us at some point.
He said that he was seeing a lot of deer in this burned timber. He said people drive past it all day long. He said you'll sit, you won't think anything's there, but you really gotta just watch the burned timber. He said you'll find deer in that burned timber.
A lot of inexperienced hunters will skip over burned country. Maybe they're thinking that deer will shy away from areas without an overhead canopy, or maybe all those news reports about fires, quote, destroying X acres of land have gotten into their heads. For a couple of years following a fire, sure, burns are pretty dismal, but as plant succession progresses along, all that sunlight reaching the forest floor brings on a riot of life with many forbs and shrubs that deer, elk, bear, and moose just love. And eventually, it thickens up enough that it supplies ample bedding cover too, as you'll see.
Little guys.
Sure enough, we very quickly managed to spot a few bucks skylined on a ridge above the scorched timber.
There's another one. It's a third one. How big is that, dude? Oh, wow. That's a wide buck. He's outside the ears. Did you get that one in the scope? Yeah, he's pretty wide. Yeah, real wide 3-point. Aussie 3. Yeah, good eye guard. Oh. Ken keeps telling me about a huge 3-point you see. Might be him. Yeah. Where stuff gets real thick to the right of that blonde patch.
Gotcha.
There's another buck in there.
I can just barely see his neck.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he's got a cool like inline, but he's only a 3-point on the. He's not very big.
No, it's not.
I don't think so. Oh, now they're back on the ridge top again.
Don't pass up on the first day what you'd be happy to have on the last. I'm not gonna do it, but if it was the last day, I'd really like that 3-point.
Yeah, I don't like
the last day.
Yeah, I don't like that saying. There's a lot more hunting to be done between the first and last day.
Well, no, I get the premise, but it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But if you were like last night of the season,
Oh, that'd be a great buck.
that'd be great.
I mean, it is a great buck.
No, but yeah, I mean, I'm not dogging on him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm just like, sat down. It's
First
hard to sit down first morning and start shooting at something.
Yeah. It looked like on the Onyx that if we were to take that road, you get like 4 more of these.
Oh, you want to check that out? Just to want to do that just to explore.
I think, yeah. I mean, if this one's got deer on it, you'd think the other 3 that are identical should.
No, let's do it. It'll help just kind of explain the area too, you know?
Yeah.
With a promising start, we hop into the Can-Am to venture down the main ridgeline. We're staying way up high so we can peer down into the surrounding country. If we find an area we really like or locate a good buck, we'll figure out a plan on how to creep into that particular area when the time is right. We settle in at the top of a new ridge and start glassing.
Where'd that buck come from?
Once again, it takes us no time at all to find more deer.
It's not a bad deer. There's some deer way over there. There's a bunch of deer over there. There's 3 deer coming out of the timber, and then there's 2 in the yellow stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one buck's real good.
One facing the other way is the better one, right?
The one facing away is a back fork 3-point.
Yeah.
And then the one facing us, I think, is bigger.
It's about 1,150 yards away. Oh. I mean, look at the body on that guy.
Yeah, he's like 2 years older than the other buck. He's just old deer.
Just shoulders.
He's big framed. I think he's bigger than we think because his body's so huge.
The hunting is so good here, I almost wish it wasn't, because I don't want to get all spoiled and soft.
Dude. I don't really know what to
It's a good deer.
think about that.
This is where I feel like I just got to be quiet and let you make the decision 100%.
Really kind of a spectacular form, just to get things started.
What do you think? And walk over towards those green trees? Or just...
Well, I don't want to harass him.
Believe me, I've spent hundreds of days busting my ass to find just a single buck or 2 in the mountains. So I'm not taking this situation for granted. This is amazing. I don't want it to end, but then I don't want to be stupid either. Just because we're glassing up a bunch of bucks today does not mean that we'll find them again later. Things can change, and they can change for the worse in a hurry.
It's one of those things, like, you don't know, are these deer just gonna pop out every evening where they're feeding in the morning and you'll get all kinds of looks at them, or is that the last time you're ever gonna see those 2 deer?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. There's a lot of ground over there, you know.
With that said, we decide to bide our time and keep cruising and looking.
We could go up there and look at that bird.
Yeah.
Want to do that?
Yeah, we can do that. So there's 3 deer there now, 3 bucks.
Yeah, I got him. You see that bush that looks like a deer's body?
Yeah.
He's just to the right of that.
Yeah, I can only see that next.
Yep.
Oh, there he is.
He'll be out in a minute.
This is the kind of deer hunt I like, Jason.
Why is it?
Because there's a bunch of deer.
I like the buck-to-doe ratio in this area.
But as the sun gets higher and the temperature rises, the sightings reduce considerably. The deer move off the south and east-facing slopes of grass and fade into the northerly-facing slopes of burned timber, where they can vanish into the lush and shaded undergrowth.
Yeah, unless one of them stands up to take a piss or adjust because of the sun, it's gonna be hard to find them.
Yeah, because we know there's, what, probably 7 deer over here, for sure.
The light's horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's 7 bucks, and then you can't find any of them.
As afternoon turns to evening, activity remains sparse. Apparently, the deer aren't venturing away from their north-facing hideouts until after dark. It's good information to know. That's the kind of thing that'll be helpful when it comes time to make a stalk on a specific deer.
I lost track how many bucks we saw.
Yeah.
Half dozen. That's a pretty good start.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can tell, well, evening seems to be like a lame. Evening's lame.
Yeah. Yeah, this buck's still bedded all the way into dark. Yeah, I mean, we've seen, what, 7 or 8 different bucks, and we've literally only hunted 1 ridge.
Yeah, dude, we haven't done anything. We haven't done anything. This is about as nice as stuff as you can hunt mule deer in, man.
That's perfect.
Good visibility. Some of the topography might turn people off, and then you go after something, you're gonna be wishing it was flat. But for looking, it's nice.
Yeah, the burn's perfect, because, you know, if that was solid timber over there, you would never see those deer again today.
Yeah. Now, let's pack it up, huh?
As the daylight fades, we're just hoping that these conditions hold. I cannot wait for the morning.
I'm excited to see this again tomorrow.
Our second day on the mountain starts out a little slower than the first. We pick off some deer, but nothing too exciting at first.
I was holed up for like 5 hours under this tree. I got caught sneaking in.
Our buddy Kenton, whom I mentioned earlier, has driven up to hang out and do some glassing with us.
I couldn't really see any good way to shoot at somebody in that burn where he was.
The trick, I think, would be is to come halfway up that road and kind of go cross-court.
Across the burn.
Cross, because if you keep up the road, I think you can get some lights.
As the morning progresses, things pick up.
There's 2 does there. There's a deer, a couple of them over there.
You got a scope on them?
I do, but it looks like a damn doe. Yeah, if they're a buck, none of them's very big.
At first, all we see are a couple groups of does and a lone buck way off in the distance, but at least the deer are starting to pop. Kenton leapfrogs ahead of us to the next glassing spot to see what he can turn up. Jason and I decide to stick to this spot for a while. It's got a commanding view of the twisting and turning ridge lines below us. We see no reason to move until eventually we do.
See how that ridge like jumps up right behind the gray rock?
Yeah.
They're up just to the right of that big knob.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, man. Some definite antler in there, man.
Yeah, I mean, horn-wise, he looks good. Frame-wise, he looks good from what I can see. There's a bunch more bucks in that patch of timber that are popping out, maybe those little 2 points. You know what I'm starting to figure out on this hunt? The deer don't really like to move till whatever 15 minutes ago was.
Well, I think you're picking them off when they're moving to their bedding areas.
They're up, moving higher on the ridges.
Yeah. As the sun gets hot, they're crossing over, and then they become vulnerable to getting spotted.
Man, that buck in the middle of the timber right now looks real good, Steve.
We can definitely close the distance, but they're going to roll over.
This pocket of bucks is really far away, too far to get the kind of detail we want. But there is definitely a bunch of them, and a couple of them deserve a more careful look. But before we can get it, they roll over the ridgeline and appear to drop down into the north-facing timber. If we stayed put, we might not get a look at them until tomorrow morning, and even then, we'd still be way too far away.
I got to go over there and figure out what I'm looking at.
I decide that we should work our way over there and try to get a look back into their bedding area from an opposing slope. Where we need to get to is a couple of miles away and off the road system. So we share a GPS waypoint with Kenton and drive over to where we'll start hiking from. On our way over, we bump into a couple of small bucks.
That's a crazy fork.
The other ones have got to be right here.
They were pretty far away, but yeah, I don't think they'd be over that way.
I'm pretty sure that those deer aren't part of the group we were seeing. The deer we're looking for should be quite a ways further to the southwest. We push along until we're looking toward the right slope.
That's some good bed and cover there.
Good bed and cover, hard glass and cover.
Yeah.
But it's so damn thick in there that it seems impossible to find anything in that tangle of brush.
Late this morning, we watched a bunch of deer over that hillside. We figured they'd be bedding on the shaded side of the hill. So now we're over here, and it's a real thick hillside. We've been getting spoiled by all those burned hillsides, and you can stare into there and find them. This is a live hillside. There's just not many places to look to find a deer in there. So the plan of trying to find them in their beds is probably not going to work.
Still, we settle in and start looking, and looking, and looking, until I really feel like I'm ready for a little midday snooze. About then, Kenton finds us, and we decide to bring him up to speed on our theories and our strategy.
As soon as you get over there, you can see everything just drops over.
In the process, we catch a bit of movement.
Steve, I think you want to look at this buck that's in there right now.
Oh, yeah, I got him. You're looking in a tangle.
Yeah, it's like 7 layers deep.
I see a nice fork, like a nice 4.
Our trip around to the backside of this ridge was not in vain.
There's the other deer up above him.
The more we stare at that mess of trees, the more deer we see and the more antler we find. And I mean a lot of antler.
See, that's a nice dude.
That's a real nice buck. The one in front of the tree, but I think the one behind is bigger.
Really?
I can see 2 forks, and they're both quite deep. Very cool.
Yeah.
It's just a tangled mess in there.
Yeah, it is.
How are you gonna get in there?
I don't know. I mean, might have to just try to work them on the other side when they go over to the other side.
Do we want to play like you want to shoot this one, and we'll see if we can find that bigger one, a different angle?
Yeah.
It's right there. So you see that line of black trees?
Yeah.
He's just to the left.
It's like 490. What do you get?
438.
Yeah.
How far are you comfortable shooting? 4. There's a black log that runs left to right under him.
Yeah, I see the black log that runs left to right.
He's right behind that black log uphill from it. Now he's walking up and away.
Oh, I see. I see his body now, but not his head.
Now he's coming back to the left.
Yeah, I got him.
Okay.
He's so obscured. I mean, I got him, but it's like, he's just behind a veil of brush. I'm just looking at him between the trunks of the black trees. I can see his tail. Now I can see his back.
He's gonna come back to the, he's walking straight away. He's going up to the right.
Yep.
There he is to the right.
Yeah, but it's just, I mean,
Just his face.
yeah. What's that distance?
465.
Oh, man.
There's a deer out in front of him now. To the left, he's chasing.
Yeah, but it's just too, it's like I got too much. I guess I gotta, yeah.
Hit him. He's down. He rolled over on his back.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. He's not moving.
Nice shot, Steve. Congrats, buddy. That was a great buck.
That was cool, man.
The plan worked out.
Worked out great.
To come find them in the beds.
A tough little area to work.
Yeah. It was obscured, but the more I thought about it, I don't want to hit where it's obscured anyway.
Yeah.
Because I had like that much rib, you know. I had the whole rib cage. Yeah. I'll take it.
Well done.
Yeah.
Pro.
It worked out.
It worked out. Yeah. You know what? That was one of the rare times when a plan worked out. No, not just worked out, but worked out over a very long period of time.
It started when you guys saw him come over the top ridge hours ago.
We're like, we need to go over there and look in where they're at. Then I was like, you can't look in.
Yeah, too thick, too thick.
Man, they like burns, man.
They do. They love them out here.
When everything's on fire and like people are scared and losing their houses, it's hard to be like, but someday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That mushroom, the deer mushrooms.
Yeah.
think I see his back up here. There he is. That is a big-bodied deer, man. Nice. Man, that is a giant deer.
That's a great buck.
Nice job, man.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah,
It's a great deer.
yeah. He's got that real well-defined forehead. This makes it right here for me, man.
Feel hooked?
Little hook. Awesome. Oh, that was fun. Oh, he's big.
We get down to business processing the buck. We've been working on an outdoor cookbook, and I want to test a venison rib chop preparation. So, when I get to working on the rib cage, I know just what I need to do.
I'm trying to, and I've done it before, cut it like how you do for lamb chops. Tomahawk chops, they call them. Voila. Yeah. Come in like here, here, and you have a little bone-in chop. When I was a little kid, I don't know if you remember this. I mean, I know you don't remember when I was a little kid, but you might remember this happening. That cream of mushroom soup dominated wild game cooking. Do you remember that era?
You can put on anything.
Everybody would cook everything in cream of mushroom soup. And it was eventually replaced bacon, wrapped in bacon, wrapped in bacon. We're not wrapping anything in bacon, but we don't have any oil, so I just want to get the grease from it.
So we're trying to squeeze as much grease out of this
A
bacon
whole
as
bunch of
possible.
grease. Then we're gonna get the grease unbelievably hot.
Okay.
Like if you were at home, your smoke alarm would go off, and then we're gonna put the little choppies in there.
Back at camp, Phelps and I dig into our game bags and sort out that block of rib chops for a quick test.
Yeah, these look cool. Look at that.
That's gonna be awesome.
That's like textbook. I'm gonna prove to you how tender mule deer is.
And we're going for like a medium rare.
Yeah,
So like a minute aside at this hot.
90 seconds, yeah. That's it.
Perfect. Bacon
Sample,
appetizer.
little sample.
Getting ready to call it. So what's your opinion on like letting it rest? Are you like
Right now,
5
it'll
minute?
burn the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, it's like a 5-minute rest.
I let rows sit. I let them sit, and I feel like they just bleed less.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me that that's actually not true. I just don't believe it's not
No,
true.
it's when I eat them right away versus wait 5 minutes or 10 minutes is
Oh, yeah.
obvious.
When it's like ripping hot, you cut into it, and it's just like, yeah, you gotta like take paper towel and stuff it
Like
under
a
the cutting
steak-
board.
Steak soup.
Yeah, no, I think letting it sit. I think it whatever the hell happens. I can't tell you what happens, and something happens and that thing holds on, reabsorbs or holds on to, or everything calms down. I don't know. Huh?
Good.
Best tasting thing in the woods.
That's a good eater.
Yeah, no, it's great eater.
Like I was saying at the beginning of the show, mule deer are the coolest animals in the world. They taste great, they're beautiful. The way they vanish over a distant ridge is like a poem about wilderness. Their antlers are visual art. And yes, I'm talking to you, Phelps. You know I'm right, just admit it.
October mule deer, man.
Doesn't get much better besides elk.